Hi guys, so in this video we're going to take a little look at the looper in the Quad Cortex. I've had a couple of comments actually on videos asking if I can do kind of like a quick run through of how to set the looper up. So I'm not going to go into like massive detail. I'm literally just going to go over the basic functions and then mention a couple of little features that I think are really cool as well. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and add our amp model. So we'll go with, we'll just go with the plexi, add a cab. I always use the greenback cabs with the plexi models. So yeah, we got our amp set up there. So to add the looper, it's the same as adding any other block. We're just going to add a new block, scroll down, and then we'll find the looper here, looper X. Okay, so once we've added it, there's a couple of different ways to now open the looper. So if you're in stomp mode, you can use foot switch. Well, in this case it's foot switch C, but it will just like auto assign itself to a free foot switch. So yeah, you can use whichever foot switch it assigns to. So in this case it's C. But also you can open it just by tapping on the touch screen. So if you are using it in stomp mode and you're kind of using it in like a live setting, or if you're practicing with the Quad Cortex on the floor and you're using the foot switches as foot switches, to then back out of the looper, we use this foot switch here. So it's not the same foot switch as you use to open it, if that makes sense. And the reason for that is because all of these functions are mapped to the foot switches. Oh, just knock the camera. Oops a daisy. Yeah, cool. So every function on the screen there is mapped to one of the foot switches. As you can see, they're all labelled, so it's pretty self-explanatory which one's which. But yeah, so to get started, we just either tap record on the screen, or we can use foot switch E. So press record, and now this is the feature that I like the most about the looper. And I don't have very much experience with like other looper pedals. I've only ever used the really basic ones. So I don't know if this is like a standard feature on like actual like good looper pedals. But it will now wait until you actually start playing before it starts recording the loop. And this is something that I find really useful, because when I'm practicing, or if I'm recording a YouTube video or something, I always have the Quad Cortex on my desk like this. So obviously if it was like a standard looper kind of setup where you have to press the foot switch and it'll record straight away, that would make it really difficult to like record a seamless loop, because I'd have one hand pressing record and I'd have to try and somehow jump straight to playing the guitar. Obviously with this setup I can just press record, then get set up ready to play, and then when I start playing it'll start recording. So yeah, I'll play a little loop now. So we got so that'll just loop now. So as you can see there, really straightforward. Press record, play, and then just like with any looper, obviously you've got to stop the recording like in time so that the loop goes round seamlessly and stays in time. So once you've recorded your first layer, you've got two options. If you press the record button again, then that'll start overdubbing, so you can build up your layers to your loop. And then once you're done adding layers, or if you only want one thing looped, then you can press foot switch F or play on the touch screen, and then that'll just start playing the loop then, and then you can play over the top. So I'll just do a quick example. So press record. so that'll start going around now. I can play over the top. So, you know, that's the basics of it. We've got a few other features. If you was to add another layer and you wasn't happy with it, you can press undo, so foot switch H or undo on the touch screen. So if I was playing this now, and now that's just undone the previous overdub, so I could start playing over the top again now. That's a bit out of time. So if I press undo again, I can try again now. There we go, that's better. See if we can do a better one this time. So yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, so other features, you've got this duplicate feature, which is again pretty cool. I quite like this one. So if you wanted to like double the length of the loop, then you can use this duplicate feature. So if we press play, so yeah, it allows you to like I say, yeah, you can either like double the length, or if you leave it running, it will just keep adding one more kind of block of your loop, and then make that into one bigger loop. And obviously that then allows you to kind of like build up your layers, but have different sections, if that makes sense. Pretty cool. One shot, that just means that it plays through the loop one time. Half speed, pretty obvious, it plays at half the speed. So if we play that, so that's quite useful for practicing if you want to slow something down. The punch in function allows you to overwrite a portion of the loop. So you press it, and then anything that you play will overwrite the loop, and then when you press it again, it'll stop overwriting basically. And then the reverse function, it's pretty obvious. It literally just plays the loop backwards, like in reverse. So those are your basic functions. If we go to the parameters here, we've got a couple of extra things. Again, like I said, I'm not going to go into super detail with all this. But your playback level is the volume or like the loudness of the loop. So you know, how loud the loop is played back. You can like kind of dial this down a bit so that if you're playing lead over the top, you're not like fighting with the volume of the loop. And then same with like the overdub level, you can dial this back as well if you want the overdubs to be slightly quieter. High pass and low pass, they're pretty cool, like if you want to dial out some of the highs or lows in your loop. So again, like your overdubs or your lead parts over the top aren't like kind of competing with the loop itself. Over here, so you can choose whether you want a toggle or momentary foot switch. That's pretty cool. I use the toggle mode most of the time. For punch mode, I would recommend using the momentary switch, or like that's what I would choose. So not that I'd recommend it, I suppose, but that's how I would use it, is what I mean. Because that way you just hold the switch down for however long you want to punch in. But yeah, that's the basics anyway. So hopefully some of you find that useful. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next time.